Now let's look at the grading component for this class. The largest component, 40%, comes from your speed and accuracy drills. These are addition drills, and they're 3 minutes long and given multiple times per class meeting. We often call these speed and accuracy drills timings. 150 keystrokes per minute with 90% accuracy is required to pass the course. Now don't worry about that now. Most people start off about 25 keystrokes per minute and very low accuracy, but with practice, by the end of the class period, most people get well over 200 keystrokes per minute. But the minimum to pass this class is 150 keystrokes per minute. Your highest grade with a 90% or higher accuracy counts as your speed and accuracy drill score as determined by the table in the syllabus. So 150 keystrokes per minute is the minimum, but to maximize this portion of your grade, the 40%, you need to get 200 keystrokes per minute with 90% accuracy or above. When I took the class, my highest speed was 231. 30% of your grade will come from tests. Tests are an evaluation of basic math skills and scored assignments. Tests will be given on Canvas. There will be practice tests, also called quizzes, and they'll be available on Canvas to help you become accustomed to testing on Canvas. Now the tests have an 80-minute time limit, but the quizzes do not have a time limit. So a lot of students at this point have a question about, well, what the heck's the difference between these timings, speed and accuracy drills, and tests? Well, we'll discuss that now. Speed and accuracy drills are done 3 to 6 times each class. The goal is to get a minimum of 60 for the quarter. These drills using your calculator where you're adding as fast as you can, it's just addition only. The reason we do addition only for the speed drills is because addition is by far the most common mathematical operation you use with these calculators, and that's why the plus key, if you look at your calculator, is the largest. Now if you look at the other mathematical operations like minus, divide, multiply, those keys are further away. So when you use those keys, you're not expected to be super fast. So again, the speed and accuracy drills are done only with addition. And these last 3 minutes each. And to do these, you will obviously need your calculator with the printer, with the tape turned on, and timing sheets, which we'll discuss later in a future video, and they are also found on Canvas. Again, remember, you're trying to do 60 of these and record the results of 60 of these in a quarter. And when you get a speed and accuracy of 150 keystrokes per minute or greater, and an accuracy of 90% or greater, you will turn that tape into your instructor as proof that you got that. For most of the timings, you won't get to 150 keystrokes per minute, so you don't need to show me those. You only need to turn these in when you get to the 150 keystroke minimum with 90% accuracy. And once again, there's the minimums you need. Remember, that's to pass the class. Even if you ace everything else, you still need to have a minimum speed of 150 keystrokes per minute, characters or keystrokes per minute, with 90% accuracy. The reason why is if you get on the job and you can't use your calculator and you're super, super slow, you're not going to be on the job very long. And you can turn in your score at any time of the quarter. Now, one thing that gets students in trouble with this class is they compare themselves to others. So when we do our first timing in class, somebody might already be over 200. Now remember, I said most students start off around 25. keystrokes per minute. So if someone turns in at 200, suddenly the person whose speed is only 25 starts to worry that they're no good and that they'll never pass the class. But I've never had a student who practiced diligently not pass the 150 keystroke minimum with, of course, 90% accuracy. And then later, well, let's get back to the last bullet point. So you can turn in your score any time in the quarter. Let's say on your third week you get to 152 keystrokes per minute. So you turn that in, and I submit your score for the speed and accuracy drills at that point. Later, if you get a higher score, you just let me know, and that will supersede or replace your lower score. So as you get better scores, just let me know, and I will input them on Canvas. Now let's talk about the tests. There's 5 tests per quarter. Dates are on the syllabus. What's on the test? Well, similar problems like we do in our homework. There will be things like math problems. Now the first chapter or section that we work on, it's really basic. We just teach you how to add and subtract and multiply and divide on these calculators quickly and accurately. But then later on we get into more complicated things like discounts, commissions, taxes, prorating overhead, etc. So this class basically teaches you how to be fast and accurate on your calculator, and it teaches you a whole bunch of advanced functions on the calculator that will make you way more efficient when you're doing your homework on your My Accounting Lab for other courses. This course does not use My Accounting Lab. And we teach you business math, like the things shown here. And when we take these tests, most of the class period is dedicated to taking the test. So if you finish early, you can leave. And classes are 80 minutes, so you have 80 minutes to work on tests. And obviously you use the calculator to solve the problems that are found on the Canvas test. And you need to take your answer, obviously, from the calculator. You have to input your answer from the calculator onto Canvas. What some students do is they use the calculator to calculate the answer correctly, and then they get lazy, or they just have poor attention to detail, and they type the answer in wrong on Canvas. So whatever you enter into Canvas is what you're graded on, not what's on your tape. And tape is meaning the paper on your calculator. And at the end of the tape, at the end of the test, you turn in your tape to the instructor, and again, your score is based what you enter into Canvas, not what's on your tape. Because in the real world, you're going to be adding and subtracting and calculating a lot of stuff on your calculator. Then your job is to go to the accounting software or Excel and enter the answer there. So you do need to have the skill of being able to do some data entry accurately, just like with any job. So other portions of your grade, 10% comes from attendance and participation. 10% comes from your homework. Your homework will be entered into Canvas. You have multiple attempts on the homework. And quizzes, also known as the practice tests, are given for each test. And you can take those as many times as you want, and your highest score is recorded. And then the last component of your grade is your record-keeping ability of your speed and accuracy drills. In other words, the timings. So those 3-minute timings that you do, that we call also speed and accuracy, but that's basically too many syllables, so we just call them timings. You want to do 60 of them during the quarter at a minimum, and you will record them on your, what we call the goldenrod sheet, which is just the color of the paper that we use to record these on. We'll tell you more about that later. And so your job is just to record your progress throughout the quarter, and hopefully you get 60 or more. If you do, then this 5% of your grade will be maximized out at 5%. But if you only do 50 to 59 timings during the quarter and record them accurately and neatly, instead of 5% of the total 5%, you'll get 4% instead of 5%, etc. So late homework is not accepted. You have plenty of time to complete your assignments. Do not procrastinate. And your job is to practice, practice, practice on the 10 key calculator so you can pass the speed and accuracy drills, those 3-minute timings that we do. We'll practice these several times each class period, and you can practice them as much as you want at home. And just to remind you, those timings, the speed and accuracy drills, they consist of addition, not subtraction, division, or multiplication. Now, we'll get into this later, but the goal is to use your 10 key calculator by touch when doing addition. That means you don't look at your calculator. Students who do look at the calculator and then have to switch back from the piece of paper, they look back from the paper to the calculator and look back to the paper, which has the paper has the numbers on that they're adding. By looking back and forth, you're slowing yourself way down. Those people do have trouble passing the class. So at the very beginning, you need to make sure you're forcing yourself to do the 10 key calculator by touch, which means you don't look at your calculator when you're adding. Of course, if you're doing subtraction, division, or multiplication, or using any of the advanced functions, it's okay to look at your calculator because those functions and keys are further away from the center of the calculator, which means it's hard to reach and you're going to be slow. Even if you have large hands like me, I can't do multiplication, division, or subtraction very quickly on these calculators. And again, don't forget, those who don't pass the speed and accuracy drills, which means 150 keystrokes per minute at 90% accuracy, you cannot pass a class, even if you ace everything else. Because you're not going to survive on the job if your 10 key skills are really, really slow.